Upanishad means Brahma Vidya. It is not a book, it is not a text. It is the very name given to the knowledge that reveals to us the infinite. The infinite which is all pervading, present at all times, here, now, everywhere, which is already gained. No action is needed to gain it. Action is required when something is far away, you have to make a journey. When something has to be changed to become something, you have to do an action. But that which is ever present, that truth which is always there at all places, if it is not gained, it is only due to our ignorance of it. And ignorance can go only with knowledge. But this is a unique knowledge. Because if the infinite was some object separate from you, if it was an object separate from you, then it can be shown to you. An object that is in front of you is seen by you, say, through the eyes, heard by you through your ears, smelled by your nose, touched by your skin, or tasted by your tongue. It is known as an object. But this is not the knowledge of the object, because it is the very subject, the knower. And how do we know this knower? It is not an object to be known, and therefore with no instruments of our knowledge, such as our sense organs of perception that we've just listed, nor with even our mind and intellect, it can be known. Therefore, it is a unique knowledge, and the methodology of revealing this knowledge and the means by which one comes to realize this truth, gain this knowledge, is very different compared to how we come to know things or objects of this world. If I tell you and you had no idea, that this is the mic that carries my voice. Suppose a completely person from a remote jungle would have come here and suddenly see me speaking and hear the surround sound. And what is this thing blocking Swamiji's face? And somebody says, oh, his voice comes through the mic, but has no idea what is the mic. You tell him this is the mic, the knowledge takes place. How does the knowledge take place? That there is a person whose eyes and ears are present, because sometimes our eyes may be open, especially like in morning class. Eyes are open. You must, in the morning class, if you take for the children, especially school children, they know they can't afford to close their eyes because the teacher will, but the eyes will be open, but the eyes are not there, because the sight is not there. Wise will understand that you can go on screaming, but he listens to nothing. Yeah? It doesn't go in. So you may have ears, but your presence of the mind must be there for your ears to be able to hear sound. At the same time, your intellect must process it for you to understand what is that sound or the meaning of that sound. Then the whole knowledge takes place. So there is an experiencer, there is an object to be experienced, and there are the presence of the instruments with which we gain the knowledge. But this infinite, which is present everywhere, which is the very nature of the self, it is not something that can be known as an object. Yet to know, we have only these equipments, the senses, mind and intellect. And therefore, it's a very unique method of revealing this knowledge. And therefore, mere information is not enough. The first question that you all asked yesterday, that we know that we are Brahman, but nothing happens, because it is not a theory to be known also. And if it was an object, if you are told, you would see it. It is not even an object that you can see. Therefore, how do we come to gain this knowledge? That Vidya, that Brahma Vidya is Upanishad. Therefore, it is the most sacred of all knowledge. And where we find it is the most sacred of all scriptures. It is called as Shruti. The reason for that is that it is not composed, compiled by any human being. Because any ideology by our limited intellect, any philosophy by our limited intellect can only be limited. Therefore, it is revealed knowledge. That wherever there is this meditative mind, these mantras itself are revealed. Thus, it is also called as Shruti. The entire Veda, Veda means knowledge, and Veda gives us knowledge of two things which we cannot comprehend with our own intellect. One is all the laws of nature. We have only discovered gravity. We cannot create gravity. We have to discover gravity. But the whole knowledge of gravity till today we don't have it. Can we say we got the full knowledge of gravity? Only one who has created can have the full knowledge of it. And therefore, at best, you can say that this knowledge came from the Creator. And even the Creator did not create the knowledge. It is with knowledge the whole creation took place. Therefore, it is called also as Sanatan Dharma, that eternal essence, that eternal truth. Very often we understand Dharma as a way of living according to the laws of nature, in harmony with it, so that we can be productive and we don't cause harm to others and to ourselves. So all such principles of action and all such actions are called as Dharma. And those who live a life of Dharma, what happens to them? Those who live the life of Dharma, their existing vasanas, their existing desires get exhausted. There are no contrary results. And when Dharma is practiced with the sense of duty, today the word duty has got a totally different connotation. Kartavya, it should be done in this manner. And when it is done as a dedication for the well-being of everyone, for the well-being of the universe, with gratitude to that from whom we have received everything, that karma becomes yoga, means a means by which our existing desires, which propel us into action, force us into action. We don't have any choice. Nobody wants to act, is it not? When you tell someone to do some work, oh, don't tell me all the time working. I need some rest. But try resting. It will become some other or the other work. So if you're not doing your kartavya, you're not doing your duties, you'll find time to have time pass. No? So time pass activities. Go to the mall and do window shopping. Wasteful activities, what you call. That is also an action only. So in this manner, when we understand that we have to act, but when we act with the right attitude, as pointed out in the Bhagavad Gita, and the Vedas point out that all action should be done with the attitude Sarve Bhavantu Sukhina, for the well-being of everyone. Then all such actions not only bring out the best of potential in each one of us, but we rise above our desire for limited things, etc. We think of higher goals. We express greater potential in each one of us. I'm just giving you a little glimpse about Storm to perform today. It comes from all here only. No? It brings out the greater potential in us. Not only we become productive, not only we achieve the object of our desire, but even greater than that, even a heavenly world. But when it is done with the spirit of gratitude, and that is without the ego that I am the doer, and that whatever I produce is for me, that acceptance of the result, which is called as detachment, the existing vasanas and desires and their limitations are washed off, cleansed off, and such a free mind turns into the intellect which begins to explore, which wants to know, and not something which is temporary, changing, finite, but that which is eternal, timeless, infinite. Now, even as far as the purpose of human life is concerned, what makes human beings more special than anyone else? Biologically, we are all animals made up of plants and minerals. Isn't it? What makes us unique compared to any other creature? That Vivek Shakti that we have, the capacity to discriminate, not just between good and bad, because that even animals know better than us what to eat and what not to eat. So what is good for them and bad for them, even animals have. But you can say the human intellect has the capacity to know the difference between right and wrong. It is different. Just to give you an idea, when people say, no, why do good people suffer? You must get that book, Destiny, Who is in Charge. Then this question will not arise. Because you can do a good thing wrongly, and you can do a bad thing rightly. You may pay your taxes, but if you have not filled the form properly or kept your books rightly, but honestly you go and even pay more than your taxes, you will still be in trouble. And there are people you know very well, you all are very expert. You can evade taxes, but if you keep your books proper, right manner. So there's a difference between that. A person knows what is right and wrong. For example, you feel like coughing. What will a dog do? Cough right at your face. But you will do it rightly, You wouldn't just cough at anyone's face, even though it's coming. And it's a good thing to cough it out, not to keep it inside. But where, how we cough, that is what is knowing how to do it rightly. Then the subtler discrimination to know what is permanent and impermanent. All creatures live in a life of impermanence and do not think of anything more. But human beings have the capacity to know what is short term, what is long term, what is temporary, what is permanent. And subtler than that, to know the difference between real and unreal. Suppose in front of an animal who's coming towards you, you kind of make a action that as though you got a stick, the animal is going to run away. But a human being will look at it and see, is there really a stick or not? Because we have the capacity to know what is real and what is unreal. So we may see a mirage. Say a camel might run towards the water which it sees, but human beings will inquire. This capacity to inquire between real and unreal is the highest capacity of the intellect. And therefore, we always want to know the truth. See, I'll just give you a very, unique example. Like, between a couple, there were some differences, and one of them went and had an affair. And made a mistake and then said, I should not tell my spouse because, it'll hurt the person, etc., 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 etc. So did not tell the spouse. But the funny thing is, when you don't know something, you are in bliss, no? They say ignorance is bliss. But when the spouse got the hint of it, went to the other spouse and said, tell me the truth now. Have you or have you not? Now, we don't see at that time what is good for us, what is bad for us, how we will do. But we want to know the truth. This uniqueness of our intellect, which wants to know the truth, even if it would be suffering. Do you know when we joined the ashram, our Acharya was Guruji himself, Swami Tejoman. He told us one thing, you have come here for what? Be very clear, what have you come here for? Everybody said, you've come here to know the truth. He said, no, all of us are searching for happiness. Even animals are searching for happiness. But human beings are not satisfied with just joy. They're satisfied only when they know the truth. And he said, you must want to know the truth even if it is going to be suffering. Not only because it's nice. Then you are a seeker of truth. When Nachiketa goes to face death, he doesn't know what lies there. But I want to know. This wanting to know is a natural impulse of our intellect, and that being our uniqueness, that's what which makes us human beings. Until and unless we know the truth, we are not going to be satisfied with mere food, clothing, shelter. Is it not? Therefore, you don't see that why are people constantly trying to gain something, sometimes million, sometimes billion, but after that also, are they satisfied? Because all the comforts possible, are we satisfied? Our family is also good and nice and loving and caring, which is rare, but it is But it is. Even then, are you satisfied? Our human intellect will not be satisfied till it knows the truth. And therefore, in Brihadaranyaka Upanishad it is said that having come into this world, having got a human body, and this Upanishad is also going to say, and we have not attained the truth, then such a person is called as Kripana, Kanjus. Kanjus means one who had the wealth but never used it. See, a poor person, you can't call him as a Kanjus. But one who has something and does not make use of it, such a person indeed is a miser. And nowadays, somebody to call a miser is not such a big thing. But Upanishad times, it is a crime to be a miser. To have something and not share it with others. And not even use it for yourself. It is considered as sheer foolishness. Shankaracharya Bhajgovinda calls the person as Muda. This is what our Upanishads have pointed out. So one who has developed this Viveka, and with that Viveka developed a dispassion. Dispassion is not necessarily giving up. And that people like saying, so physically I can enjoy everything, no? I want to enjoy everything, that is the limitation. But in that thirst of knowledge, in the thirst of that which is permanent, which is the truth, which does not change, which does not perish, which does not get negated, which always is. To know that truth is that unending urge in each one of us. Until that is satisfied, as human beings, we can never ever gain satisfaction. So one who has got this vivek and vairagya, that any limited, finite, impermanent thing cannot give me that permanent, everlasting satisfaction or happiness. One who has developed that vairagya and the equipoise of mind, shama, dhamma, to the mastery of the senses, because that's not what I want. Just like a student wants to rank first in the class, has to bring his mind to his studies, has to keep the senses under check, do not be affected by some discomforts, titiksha. Have firm faith in what? The means of knowledge. So firm faith in the scriptures and the Guru. And single pointedness of mind, steadiness of mind, firmness of mind, samadhan. At the same time, a burning desire for liberation, to free oneself from these limitations, mumukshatva. But desire for liberation, really speaking, desire for freedom also, desire for happiness is there in each and every creature also. Even in you, as human beings, is it not? It is there in everyone. But everyone does not attain liberation. Therefore, the advice of our rishis are Athado Brahma Jigyasa. A mumukshu, one who is desirous of liberation, should become a jigyasu, desirous of knowledge. And now you know why we should be desirous of knowledge, because this eternal truth can be gained only through knowledge and no other means. Then you'll understand the importance of this knowledge. Why everybody abandoned everything and went to those caves to get this knowledge? Because without this knowledge, the infinite cannot be gained. Which means what we seek as permanent happiness, what we seek as permanent peace, what we seek as permanent love, permanence can be gained only from that which is permanent, never from anything that is impermanent. Just now recently I saw these young couples nowadays make their own vows and promises, and that's how they have their weddings. Saptapadi is forgotten now. They create their own. They don't make Saptapadi, they make 13 padis. So one of them was saying that promise me that you will never change. Because after marriage, you know what happens? They just seem to change. How stupid is such war? Because everything and everyone in this world changes. And funny thing is, after 10 years of marriage, the same spouse will say, 10 years of marriage and not a bit of change has come in you. If you see, what do we really want? We are confused. Therefore, rishis point out that seek this knowledge of truth. Because in our knowledge of the world, we may know how to interact with the world, transact intelligently with the world, by which we won't harm ourselves. There also knowledge of dharma is required or not. Therefore, the importance of this knowledge. At the same time, you may know everything about the world, the field of your profession or the field. But if you don't know yourself, just say literally, what are your skills? What is your potential, your ability, your talent, the working of your body, the working of your senses, mind, intellect, even that if we don't know. See what is happening today. Today hardly we know anything about the mind. And we cannot say never mind the mind. People go through depression, people say, I don't know why I did this. Without knowledge of anything, do we know how to use it properly? And do we know ourselves? Therefore, to gain this knowledge, there must be a certain preparation. So we already mentioned who is the adhikari. So to know this self, to know the eternal truth, what type of mind is required? Therefore, Shanti parts of the Upanishads, they're very beautiful. And this Upanishad, being from the Saamveda, has two Shanti parts. One is Om Sahana Bhavatu, Sahana Bhunaktu, which is chanted, and all of you, I'm sure, have heard it many times and know the meaning of it. Om Sahana Avatu. Oh, please protect us. O Lord, O Supreme, please protect us. Both student and teacher. Protect us. Protect us from what? There can be any calamity outside, there can be any, and of course, main thing, protect us from these mobile phones. That our minds don't get distracted, affected. The Swamiji mentioning it only, you got us distracted. No? Protect us. Protect us from each other also. Protect us that our inspiration doesn't go away. So, Om Sahana Bhavatu. Sahanau Bhunaktu. May we continue to enjoy our studies. Because suddenly we get bored. This is called Uchatan Maya. May we enjoy, because whatever we enjoy, our attention will be there. Saha Viryam Karvavai. May we put in our efforts to together. Not the teacher, you teach me and reveal it to me. And that typical youngster will sit back. Let us put in our efforts together. Not the teacher thinks that I just taught, now they should have got it. The teacher puts more and more effort to communicate this subtle knowledge, and the student also participates with full attention. So sahaviryam karvavahe, tejasvinavadi tamastu. Then may our intellects be bright. And ma vidvishavahai, may there be no misunderstanding between the teacher and taught, and more important, between students themselves. Others, do you know? So and so is coming. The guru does not know what the fellow this fellow is, and then pretends there to be very devoted. Now you have come to learn about Brahman, or think about what a crooked person that person is. Sometimes the mind goes. So let there be no misunderstanding between us. 3 times Shanti, may there be peace from the cosmic forces, Adi Daivik, Adi Bhautik, from nearby sources, and from our body, mind, intellect, from within us. May there be peace, may there be peace. Because this knowledge, which requires full attunement between the teacher and the student. This knowledge can be gained only in an atmosphere of quietude and peace. Therefore, 3 times Shanti. This Upanishad has got another beautiful Shanti part also, which is chanted with Kenopanishad. Again, a very beautiful Shanti part, which prays and invokes. And this evening in Hanuman Chalisa, you will see the spirit with which it is done, and how a similar thing has been done by or demonstrated by Goswami Tulsidas ji also. So partly there we will give more elaborate explanation on how these prayers and why these prayers should be chanted. Om Apyayantu Mamangani, Om Apyayantu Mamangani, Vak Pranas Chakshuhu, Vak Pranas Chakshuhu, Shrotramatho, Shrotramatho, Balamindriyani Cha Sarvani, Balamindriyani Cha Sarvani, Sarvam Brahma Upanishadam, Sarvam Brahma Upanishadam, Maham Brahma Nirakuryam, Maham Brahma Nirakuryam, Mama Brahma Nirakarod, Mama Brahma Nirakarod, Anirakaranamastu Anirakaranam me astu, Tadatmani Nirateya Upanishadsu Dharma, Te Mayi Santu, Te Mayi Santu, Te Mayi Santu, Te Mayi Santu. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. All Upanishadic mantras start with Om, invoking the Supreme, to this universal sound being the first manifestation from the infinite, and therefore the indicator of the infinite. So Om Apyayantu Mama Angani. Apyayantu, may it grow in vigor, in vitality, in dynamism. Mama Anga, all my limbs. Not that, you're sitting and oh, my back is pain, shoulders are aching. There's so many things. It's not sometimes in our control right now. So, Apyayantu Mamangani, Vak, Prana, Chakshu, Shrotramatho, Balamindriyani Cha Sarvani. All my senses by which this communication of knowledge takes place. Suppose the teacher is saying, this communication of knowledge should be done impactfully. Why? Because Today I'm feeling very sleepy. Vak, speech must have its vitality and vigor, dynamism in it, the spirit in it, the clarity in it. That's called as apyayantu. So vak, prana, all my vitalities, no? Prana. See prana, how it keeps on affecting us here. Suddenly, normally we don't, but in the class only cough starts coming. Pranas, no? It's different pranas functioning. Suddenly, because it's cold, you want to go to the toilet. Pranavayu should be functioning here, not a panavayu. So, may all my pranas, the vital air, all my physiological functions be functioning properly. Otherwise, many people don't come in the morning because they're constipated, they can't come. They have to take some medicines at night or drink something at night, and the morning till it comes, they can't. The pranas must be functioning, and if it doesn't come and you come, then you're so uncomfortable. So pranas chakshu. Our eyes also must be bright and brilliant. But why do you need eyes here? I can close my eyes here and listen to you. Gurudev said, each and every one of you, if you don't have it today, tomorrow, must have a Kenopanishad in your head. So that audio, visual, both, to every sense organ, we must gain this knowledge. So vak pranas chakshu shrotra. So eyes, ears, speech, all of them. Balam indriyani cha sarvan. That may my strength of these senses grow in vigor. Let me always remember Sarvam Brahma Upanishadam. That everything in this world is the Brahma which the Upanishads have spoken. In simple words, may I never forget that God is present in each and every one of us. And with that one knowledge, if we interact every day with everyone, do you know how different our interaction will be? That's what from childhood we have said, no? Be good to everyone and everything, because na jane kis roop mein Narayan mil jaye. Do we know? That's why our culture is not, hi. Nowadays it's not to act trendy and say, hi Swami. We always meet with our hands folded and some name of the Lord to remind us. Where they say Hari Om, Jai Ramji Ki, Jai Sri Krishna. It is always to remind us, and therefore Namaste, that you and I are one in Him. To that essence I bow to. Let's maintain that culture. Let our children be proud of it. Just do it. Don't tell them you have to do it. Just do it. They will do it. Otherwise, today, even in our villages, you'll be surprised. How does a 6 or 7 month old child know to be embarrassed to do Jai Jai? You tell him to give a high five, hey, immediately he'll do. See what we are doing to our beautiful culture. That's Sarvam Brahma Upanishad. Matru Devo Bhava, Pitru Devo Bhava, Acharya Devo Bhava, and Atithi Devo Bhava. Whoever comes to your house, consider that person as God. So in which form God will come? So Sarvam Brahma Upanishadam. Maham Brahma Nirakuryam. May I never ever Nirakuryam, reject, deny. And how our denial is, some one problem comes up. One thing we don't get. And as parents, you have all experience, isn't it? You give your entire life and everything to your children. And just one thing the child doesn't get from you. Once they don't get, what do? Mom, Dad, you don't love me. They don't even come and see their parents. In Sukhmani Sahib, Guru Arjan Dev Sahib has written so beautifully. He says, that time tens of things were big thing, but today you can say millions of things the Lord has given you. And you don't get one or two things. You suddenly say, I'm an atheist, I don't believe in God. See, why I'm explaining in this day-to-day language, because sometimes in the Upanishadic language sounds very idealistic and all, we say, of course, yes. But in our day-to-day language and our behavior, see how it comes about? I don't believe in God. A death happens in the family. Where is it that death is not happening? You are the only special person whose nobody is ever going to die. But when death happens in the family, I don't believe in God. Believe in God means I'm angry with God. So Naham Brahma, that Lord cannot be denied. But suddenly don't say that I want nothing to do with it. I'm an atheist, I'm an agnostic. No. This fact that we create. May I never ever deny the existence of this divine presence everywhere. Maham Brahmanira Kurya. Maham Brahmanira Karut. May I never deny the infinite, and may never I be denied His divine grace. So may I not abandon the pursuit of Brahman, the infinite, and may not the infinite give up on me. And here, infinite cannot give up on anything. It means Ishwar Kripa or Guru Kripa, who is also Sakshat Para Brahma. May I never ever give up my Guru, and may my Guru never give up on Maham Brahma Nirakurya, Mama Brahma Nirakarot. Anirakaranamastu Nirakaranamayastu. So again a repetition here. And repetition, really speaking, is a crime in the Upanishads. But why is it repeated? That may there be no mutual giving up of each other. So please, please. And there's another beautiful bhajan which very often Guruji sings. You must have heard. Sambhav hai janjato mein मैं तुम्हें भूल जाऊं पर नाथ कभी तुम मुझको ना भुला दे. So because we can do, that's why when Hanumanji met Ramchandra ji for the first time, you hear in Hanuman Chalisa. What did Hanumanji tell Ramchandra ji? That I'll tell you in the evening. But there is one beautiful story, and sometimes these Puranic stories bring these ideas, even though it's Upanishads, and it's straight, and don't think Upanishads are so dry, cut, knowledge. All the Puranic stories and stories of devotees, disciples, etc., like you see in Kenopanishad, must bring out that emotion in us when we read this. Maham Brahma Nirakurya, Maham Brahma Nirakaro, Anirakaranagana, tongue twister, Anirakaranagana, Astu. We are students, I say hota tha. When Ramchandra ji saw that all the Vanaras and the bears and the monkeys were picking up these heavy stones and remembering the Lord out of the faith and with the name of the Lord, placing it in the water, the stones were floating. So Bhagavan said, with my name the stones are floating. So what if I put with my hand, what will happen? So he went a little far away. Like if you know those days when Ganeshji was drinking milk. Yeah. Remember that? Bhul na jana. After that, none of you gave Ganeshji milk to know whether he still drinks milk. I know how people, when it was done in public, many people went and did privately. Because in case Ganeshji doesn't drink your milk and have taken your sister-in-law's milk that you offered. So he went a little far away on the shore, picked up one pebble and he dropped it in the ocean. And what happened? It drowned. And when you don't want anybody to be seeing you, somebody is watching, and Hanumanji is always watching Ramchandraji. So when he turns around, and he sees Hanumanji there, looking at him. So he says, Hanumanji, did you see something? And he said, nothing. You saw nothing. So Hanumanji says, no, nothing. So you didn't see what happened. You mean to say that you dropped the stone and that sank, that you're talking about. So he said, yeah, Hanuman, how is it possible that these monkeys with my name are making the stone float? And I dropped the stone in the water and it sank. So Hanumanji said, Bhagwan, जिसको आप गिरा दोगे वो डूबेगा नहीं तो क्या तैरेगा? So will that not drown? So Bhagwan, even I pray that may I never deny your existence. May I never give up my pursuit. May I never give up my devotion and seva. But you also make sure that I don't. Because I may not be capable, but you are capable. Keep me inspired, keep me motivated, keep me on my path. And most important is that this faith, this Shraddha is such that when it goes away, for what reasons? Reasons are there. Our own desire, our own sensual pursuits. But may you never abandon. Let your grace always be showered on me. That I remain on my path. I remain in my seva. I remain in my devotion. So, may there be no spin. And tadatmani nirateya Upanishad sudharma te mai santu, te mai santu. And whatever dharma has been pointed out in the Upanishads, means all those qualities, gunas, that are required to gain this knowledge. Whatever practices that are required, te mai santu. May it be there in me. May it be very well placed in me. Isn't it a beautiful Shanti Path? Even as a daily prayer, how wonderful it is. And the evening I will talk to you about the prayer, then you look into it, whether all those elements are there only. So that when you make your prayers for yourself, even when you're just having a conversation with God, how you should have it. So beautifully pointed out. What you should ask. All this is pointed out. And 3 times Shanti. The Shanti part itself is so beautiful. Sometimes we think, this much is enough only. My health is good, my vitality is there. I live a life of goodness, purity and happiness. Bas itna hi to chahiye, aur kya chahiye? But no, there is something more. And the Upanishad starts with a question. That's why it's called an Upanishad. Because on page 50, if you open, verse starts, the Upanishad starts. 50 and it's 61. But there are made long commentaries. It's 61. Now herein all this what we have mentioned seems to be indicated, not only the Shanti part, but also in the very question that the student is asking. Upanishad is a dialogue between a student and a teacher. Having approach, upa, me. Below means with humility, shat. Sitting, inquiring, to remove our bondage, destroy our bondage, destroy our ignorance. This is called as Upanishad. And here, if you see from the way question the student is asking, we start with the question and then tomorrow we will get into it. What the student is asking is not an ordinary question about the worldly things. Therefore, you can see his Vivek and you can see his Vairagya. So the Upanishad begins. And many of these Upanishads, we do not even know who the Rishi is, who the student is. All merged in the infinite without any ego and therefore with no sense of identity. That's why they did not have copyrights and royalties. Very often we do not even know who the Guru is, who the student is. We can just imagine how great the Guru is and how great the student is. The student is inquiring. Om kene shitam patati preshitam manaha. Om kene shitam patati preshitam manaha. Kena pranaha prathama praiti yukta. Kena pranaha prathama praiti yukta. Kene shitam vacham imam vadanti. Kene shitam vacham imam vadanti. Chakshuhu shrotram kau devo yunakti. This Upanishad called as Kenopanishad, which starts with the word Kena. Kena means by whom? Ishita, Preshita, Manaha. This mind, and really speaking, today also, all our whole preoccupation is with this mind. How does this mind operate? We all want independence, but is the mind independent of operating? That is a clear-cut understanding, no? We don't have to go into any philosophical description. Is the mind independent in its operation?
No.
Even literally when we see, can the mind be the way it wants to be? In any given situation, how do we react? We just look at it in a simple manner, that obviously there is something that propels or guides the mind in such a manner, in a particular way, it seems like. So what is it, or who is it, that propels the mind to fall on objects, means to experience objects? Here the student's observation is very clear, that first and foremost, my mind does not seem to be independent. It is guided by many other forces. Now, if you just see it in a simple manner, that when you see any object, your mind gets carried away or not? It gets carried away. Then suddenly from somewhere some desire comes in your mind, it gets carried away. Some understanding, some thought, some mood comes to the mind, it gets carried away. So there are some other factors which govern your mind. At least that is clear. But your students have even observed that also. And this question is not just that. That is it vasanas, is it objects in the world that propel the mind, push the mind, guide the mind direct the mind. Otherwise, if you say objects direct the mind, then sometimes the object is there. Like, Roshgola is there. But sometimes the mind doesn't get carried away with it. So you cannot say that objects are directing your mind. It's not directing your mind. So what is it that is directing my mind? Kena prana prathama praiti yukta. What made the first breath? Prathama prana, there are two meanings to this. Prathama, we'll see in details. But what made the first, who took the first breath in? That's a beautiful question to ask. You've seen your babies born. Did the breath be pumped into it and life came to it? So is prana or breath the life-giving force? Because who took the first breath in? And who guides my chakshu and shrotra, my eyes and my ears? Kahu devo yunakti. Who is that shining conscious principle that guides Deva, my ears and my eyes, to see, to hear and see objects? Now it appears quite a psychological question, but it's not even a psychological question. So we see the very nature of the question itself asked by the students. Sometimes people don't even understand the question. And therefore even these philosophers from the West have written, a student asks a simple question and the teacher doesn't seem to have given any answer. Confuse the student even further. And therefore for them, Kenopanishad is Confuso-Upanishad. It's one of the most direct Upanishads that reveal to you the nature of this knowledge. Om Purnamada